Chicken bok bok. McChicken. Chicken bok bok McChicken. Something like that. Thrown like a star in my vast sleep, open my eyes to take a peep, to find that I was by the sea, gazing with tranquility. 'Twas then when the Hurdy Gurdy Man singing songs of love. Then when the Hurdy Gurdy Man singing songs of love. Hurdy Gurdy, Hurdy Gurdy, Hurdy Gurdy, Gurdy, he sang. Hurdy Gurdy, Hurdy Gurdy, Hurdy Gurdy, Gurdy, he sang. Hurdy Gurdy, Hurdy Gurdy, Hurdy Gurdy, 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 Gurdy. Histories of ages past, enlightened and shadows cast down through all eternity, crying of humanity. 'Tis then when the Hurdy Gurdy Man singing songs of love. Then when the Hurdy Gurdy Man came singing songs of love. Hurdy Gurdy, Hurdy Gurdy, Hurdy Gurdy, 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 Gurdy. Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Hey, Bobby. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening, everybody. Your host, Brad Bodeker. What's going on, Kevin? Hola. Welcome to b.hive Productions Horror Hump Day. And I thought I would start. I bet you guys thought you were tuning in to Tunes on Tuesday. Huh. So that's a song by Donovan called The Hurdy Gurdy Man, of course, and that is the title of tonight's story. And yeah, so this story comes out of my book Midnight Snacks. This is the first anthology that I wrote, and my version is pretty. Thanks, Steph. So the reason I named this story The Hurdy Gurdy Man is because well, Donovan's version used to scare the piss out of me when I was a kid. And just because of well, back then it was AM radio, and it would crackle through the PA speakers, and I can't remember where I was, but it was playing over the speakers. I think I was in like a gas station bathroom, and it was playing through the speakers, and I was kind of creeped out because the lights were flickering. They didn't work very well. And I remembered that, and I also read an article about, it wasn't at a gas station, it was at a rest area out in the middle of nowhere. Anyhow, I read an article regarding unsolved murders on the highway. Hey, Kenny, good to see you. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Yeah, the story just kind of organically happened. It was going to be a serial killer, and then it turned into something else, which you guys will find out soon enough. But I thought I would start by reading you the article first that I found. Hey, Beth, welcome. Oh, let's see what we got here. This story will have you snuggling Bobby. So, according to the FBI, there have been over 200 unsolved murders along U.S. highways since the 1980s. And the Bureau has a list of about 450 suspects. Some unsolved highway murders include, I don't know if I can get my freaking computer to cooperate with me here, is the New Bedford highway killer. This unidentified serial killer is responsible for the deaths of at least 9 women and the disappearances of 2 others in New Bedford, Massachusetts between 1988 and 1989. The killer is also suspected of assaulting many other women. There's also the I-70 killer. This is a string of murders that took place in the early 1990s in strip malls near interstates from Indiana to Kansas. The identity and motive behind the killings remain a mystery. And Warless Jackson. In 1967, civil rights activist Warless Jackson was murdered by a car bomb in Natchez, Mississippi. Evidence suggests that a white supremacy organization may have been involved. Other factors that can lead to unsolved highway murders include poverty, low rates of vehicle ownership, and mobility can lead to hitchhiking, which can make it easier for victims to be picked up and murdered. Isolation, remote areas can make it harder to find victims, and soft soil can make burial easier. And scavengers, carnivorous scavengers can also carry away human remains. So there you go, on that happy note. Anyhow, all right, let's get into the story. Let's see here. Bum 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 ba dum ba dum bum. Well, good evening, Chuck. No Badgers tonight? You didn't bring the Badgers because Badgers might want to take a piece out of Mr. Hurdy Gurdy. So anyhow, all right, let's get the show rocking here. It wasn't chapter 2, it's story 2 in Midnight Snacks. The Hurdy Gurdy Man. For the love of God, Hilly, his father shouted to the back seat. We just stopped a few miles back. But Dad, Hilly protested from the back seat, I really gotta go. We're almost to Grandma's. You shouldn't have drank all that pop, his mother added. Hilly whined and grunted and hopped up and down in his seat. In winter, Minnesota roads can be treacherous, and driving them in southern Minnesota, where there is nothing but flat prairie and farmland, visibility is nil, and snowdrifts rival the height of semi-trucks. This makes for a very grumpy father who is driving slowly across Interstate 90, trying to get to his mother-in-law's for a belated Christmas. Dad, please, Hilly pleaded. Jesus on a crutch, kid, he spat. I'm fairly sure that's not healthy for me to hold it in like this, Dad. It really hurts. Fine, I'll pull over. You can go in the ditch. Not in this weather, he's not, his mother protested. Mom, really, I don't care. I just have to go. See, he doesn't care, his father grinned at his mother. God damn it, will you stop thinking about yourself and just find a... Oh, wait, look up there. Their Subaru Outback approached a thin, green, reflective sign announcing Triumph, 7 miles. I would think they'd have a sign stating there was a gas station there if there was one, his father noted. Just turn off, she ordered. Their car fishtailed up the exit ramp, and another sign indicated that Triumph was 4 miles to the south. They turned left and tried to peer through the blowing snow if they could make out a town, but were unsuccessful. Hilly's bladder was beginning to spasm, and it felt like someone was turning a knife in his privates. Finally, his dad let out an exaggerated sigh. They pulled into the drift-covered lot of an old gas station. It didn't look like anyone was there, or if it was even open anymore. The shop inside looked vacant, and the lights weren't on. I don't think it's open, his mother said. Hilly moaned desperately. Just pull around to the back, and I'll just go there, Daddy, please. His father maneuvered the car around the side, and Hilly got out in a rush. He looked up and saw that the bathroom doors were outside. He went up and tried the men's door, and it opened to a pitch-black room. He turned around and went back to the car, hopping back and forth, trying to hold in his urine stream. What now? His dad asked, annoyed. Will you come in there with me? Hilly asked timidly. Fucking A, Hilly. You're 10. Just go already. Hilly went back to the door and opened it. He felt around for the light switch, and it snapped on. The fluorescence flickered and buzzed, and then he held a faint glow. The PA above was playing some old song in which the chorus eerily went on and on about someone called the Hurdy Gurdy Man. There were 2 dilapidated stalls and 1 urinal, which hung askew off the wall by just a sliver of piping. He went into the large handicap stall and noticed the door didn't latch. He couldn't hold it any longer. So he just undid his pants and squat and let his urine go. He sighed with relief. And that's when the door opened, and he could hear the wind whoosh under the stall walls and felt a cold prickling on his bare legs, and then immediately heard the door slam shut. There was a low gurgling coughing and shuffling of snow-covered feet. "Dad?" he asked the stranger. No answer. He pushed the stall door against the catch with his boots and held it there. The footsteps shuffled into the stall next to him. He heard the man's zipper go down and saw his pants drop around his ankles, and then the slap of his ass touching down onto the toilet seat. He winced as he heard unnatural liquidy sounds gush into the bowl next to him. The stranger only moaned and grunted, and then occasionally sighed when he thought it was done. Hilly himself was still peeing. He couldn't believe how much, and it didn't feel as if it was going to end any time soon. "Oh, God," he thought to himself, "when is that guy going to stop?" As soon as he thought that, he heard the man next door let out a long sigh. The stench was rotten, like raw chicken that had been left out on a sidewalk in the middle of July. Hilly gagged slightly. The Hurdy Gurdy Man played on and on through the tinny speakers. "Please flush," he thought to himself. There was no flush. That's when he heard the low gurgling noise as if from the man's stomach. The man himself uttered a slight cry and then moaned aloud. "Sir?" Hilly asked. "Are you okay?" The man let out a guttural cry, and the wall between them shook. Hilly jumped and peed on his pants a little. The wall shook again, and the man cried out in agony as if there was more of that disgusting splashing going on. Hilly saw the man's feet kicking around, and suddenly there was blood pooling around the man's toilet. "Oh, God!" He tried to muffle his own cry. "Oh, Jesus, God!" There was a loud ripping sound, like a sheet being ripped apart, as the man screamed, shaking the stall walls. Then, falling onto the floor next to his feet, was at first he thought it was a mask of a man's face. But it wasn't. It was skin, torn and bloodied. The man's screeching became inhuman. Hilly pulled up his pants, still trailing urine at a slower rate. Chunks and gobbets of flesh began sloughing off his uncanny neighbor and plopping onto the floor between them. He wished for nothing more than his father to come through the door. Hilly opened his own stall door, just as the neighboring door crunched into a mess like tinfoil and then shot across the bathroom and hit the sink across the room and shattered the porcelain. He ran back into his stall, bracing his snow boots up against the stall door. A growling so loud it made his ears hurt and itch. Then he saw its legs step down onto the pile of steaming flesh. They were segmented limbs, and brown from what he could see from his perspective. Its raspy breath rattled in its throat as it came out of the ruined stall. Hurdy gurdy, hurdy gurdy, hurdy gurdy 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 gurd played on off the PA. It started to bang at his stall door, making him cry with fear. Its strength was tremendous as he thought it would be. Frustration echoed in its newborn voice as it tried to make purchase. Hilly struggled with all his little strength to hold the door closed, but it began to bend around where his boots were planted. Bolts and slivers of metal falling onto his trembling lap. "No, please, please, God, no!" he cried out. The assault on the door stopped. "Daddy!" he screamed at the top of his lungs between sobs. But he knew if his parents didn't hear that thing screeching into the echoing walls of the bathroom, they wouldn't hear him. Suddenly, he felt something land on his shoulder. He looked and saw something that looked like yellowish-white snot gobbed onto his winter coat. He looked up. "Sorry about that, young man," it hissed from above on its perch atop the stalls. It looked like a giant cockroach with quivering, segmented limbs, each ending in what looked like human hands. The head was a mottled mess of insect and human. There were chunks of human flesh stuck to its hairy body. "I can't seem to keep saliva in my mouth with these damn mandibles of mine," it continued matter-of-factly. Hilly only cried harder and tried not to look at it. "You shouldn't cry, young one. This is only nature taking its course. That man was only a carrier. There are millions of them on this planet. But unfortunately for me, and you indirectly, my host abused his body and could no longer sustain me. So, I must find another." One of its limbs reached down and grabbed Hilly by the chin and lifted him up to face it. "You look like a good, strong, healthy boy." Hilly kicked and screamed. "But, unfortunately, your vessel is too small for me. The process would tear you apart." Hilly lost control of his bladder again and soaked his pants and boots. "Ew. I guess that puts the kibosh on eating you. I get so hungry after molting. I noticed 2 adults outside in the vehicle when I came in. Perhaps they would—" "No!" Hilly protested. Just then they both heard the car door slam outside. The thing dropped Hilly and pulled the exhaust venting from the ceiling and crawled up. "Shh," it said with another string of snot dripping down on Hilly. "Let's hope someone else comes along after you, or I may have to track your family down. It was nice to meet you, young sir." And with that, it disappeared. "The fuck are you doing in here, kid?" his dad said, surveying his son. "You pissed yourself?" "Dad, I... Hilly started and then ran into his father's chest, gripping him with a fierce hug, and sobbed. His dad looked around the bathroom. "What the fuck happened in here, I wonder? You went to the bathroom in here? Oi, kid, I'd rather have gone in the ditch." There was a clicking noise from above, and Hilly tried to bury himself deeper into his father's coat. "Can we go, Daddy?" he pleaded. There was a buzzing above them, and then the song started again. "Oh, I used to love that song back in the day." His dad smiled a bit and then looked down at his son. "Donovan was Britain's idea of Bob Dylan back then." "Daddy, please." "Okay, son," he said. "You know, I wish you'd grow up a little bit and quit being so scared and awkward all the time. You're 10 now. You ought to man up a bit." Hilly was silent all the way to the car. He got in while his dad searched around in the trunk for his spare clothing. "What did you do, Hilly? Wet yourself?" his mother asked. "And what is that? Is that snot on your new winter coat I just got you?" Sometimes, Hilly, I just don't know what to do with you. His dad opened the back seat doors and threw a pair of underwear and jeans to him, and then he got into the driver's seat. Hilly listened to the wind hitting the side of the car as he got dressed. When their car hit Interstate 90 again, his dad clicked on the radio. Static buzzed from the back subwoofers, and then distantly at first, and progressively louder, Donovan. Britain's answer to Bob Dylan, whispered the Hurdy Gurdy Man. And the song got louder and louder. And that, my friends, is the end of the Hurdy Gurdy Man. So I hope you enjoyed that one. If you guys are interested in midnight snacks, it's available on Amazon. I should have a link on there, on this podcast here for you to click on. I think it's only $7.99. It's also it's free on Kindle. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can check it out for free. So yeah, that was what is going on with this cord, man? Starting to realize why Stephanie hates cords. So anyway, yeah, so tomorrow night I am going to be at the Winthrop City Library. I was asked to do an author talk out there. I've been announcing that it starts at 6, and I am wrong. It starts at 7 o'clock. And so yeah, so it goes from about 7 to 8. I am going to, I haven't had any idea what I was going to do for the author talk. I looked up a lot of stuff online to see what other authors did, and the only ones they really had were like people like Stephen King and James Patterson and stuff like that, and you know, they get $4 or $5 grand to do some of these. So yeah, but they yes, I did. I actually put the Butthole Surfers version of Hurdy Gurdy on my TikTok. So you know, if you ever looked at my stuff, but yeah, but anyway, so yeah, I'm just going to probably just talk a little bit about myself, how I got into writing, and a little bit on publishing, and kind of what some things are to look for with people that are self-publishers, and then I'll probably read from some of my books, and probably read from my upcoming books to give everybody an idea of what my writing style is like. Also, I'm going to I'll have an order form. If people want to order books, I'll sign them for them, and order them, sign them, and then hand deliver them to you, or I'll send them to you depending on how far you are. But I'm also going to donate all my books that I had ordered a copy of every book I've written and published, and I'm going to donate those to the Winthrop Public Library. So I have a friend that I went to high school with, Becky Raffin Baumhoffner. She lives out in Fulda, Minnesota, and she has ordered all of my books. She's ordered an extra copy of all my books, and she put them in the library down in Fulda. So if you're ever out in Fulda, Minnesota, you can check out my books there too. She actually has a couple of my books that are not available anymore. The publishing company I went through are defunct now, which is good because they were kind of they were sketchy. But you're not too far for delivery. Well, you are in Florida, sir. But you know, maybe I can hop a plane and fly one down to you, buddy. I'd do that for you. So, yeah, so that is going on tomorrow night. I'm a little nervous about it, but it really shouldn't be any different than what I do on here, really. So, Kevin, how was that as far as how's the story? Was it scary enough for you, or do you think you could coast through that one? So, I was trying to make it my goal to give you nightmares that night. So I don't like giving Steph nightmares because she wakes up screaming and wakes me up. So yeah, and then it freaks me out. So, but anyhow, yeah. So yeah, I got that going on tomorrow night. If you guys are out in the area, or you want to make a quick trip out here, it's never a quick trip. I think we're about an hour from. It's another messed up night. Good, I've done my job. Um, yeah, I mean it's a haul from the cities. We're about an hour and a half from the city. So, um, but yeah, if you guys get a chance, you guys want to come out, that'd be great. It'd be great to see you. Um, I'm kind of anxious to see who's coming because a lot of people know me in town. I'm known as the Brown Man. I'm known as the mayor of Winthrop. So it'll be interesting. And I don't think too many people know this side of me, the author guy. So yeah, so it'll be interesting. Winthrop Library. Welcome, Lindsay. Thanks for showing up here. Um, yeah, so I'm excited about it and nervous and scared at the same time, but whatever. It's too bad I'm not a hardcore whiskey drinker like I used to be because I could just show up like Bukowski and just be wasted through the whole night. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And then I won't be asked over anymore. And the activities director, just to show you how small this town is, lives right next door to me. So I'll just get evil looks if I screw it up from her every day, or I'll lose her husband smokes meat, and I get free meat every once in a while. He just gave me like a pulled pork the other night, and I might lose that. So yeah, we're a symbiotic community down here. So that's how it works. Anyhow, I'm gonna let you guys go. I got a ton of stuff to do to prepare for tomorrow, and yeah, it was good. It was good hanging out with you. Thank you everybody for coming out. I really appreciate it. I got close to 500 followers or whatever, and I need to get 500 more. So share this page with your buddies, with your family, and show them what kind of depraved friends you have. And yeah, then I can start monetizing this stuff and be a rich YouTuber or something. No, that's not what I want. I want to be a comfortable writer is what I want to be. But again, keyword is wannabe. Anyhow, all right, love you guys. Thanks for coming out, and we will see you either tomorrow night or we'll see you next week at Tunes for Tuesday. Tunes for Tuesday, by the way. Since we got somebody filling in for Mike, Heaven, her, and Bobby are going to be on Tunes for Tuesday with me, and we're going to jam a little for you on that for the final, the season finale of Tunes for Tuesday. So yeah, you'll get to hear a little bit of that. And then, of course, I'll have something for you for next week's Horror Hump Day. And I'll try harder to get Kevin to wet the bed maybe this time. That's my goal. All right, you guys. Thank you all very much. Kevin, Lindsay, Stephanie, and Chuck, and Beth, and Kenny, and Bobby, of course. Thank you guys very much for coming out. And the rest of you who didn't chime in but are still there watching, or are you watching later, appreciate you watching me on YouTube, whatever. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, all right. Have a great night, you guys. Peace. Clickety click.